Hello, everyone. It's Elijah Wood from Lord of the Lies Music. Today I am going to be discussing the story and the inspirations for this project. First, I'll go over the concept for the project and the real life tragedies I base this fictional work and characters on, and then I'll be discussing my musical influences, some of which may be surprising. The music of Lord of the Lies doesn't tell a completely linear story, and the songs won't be released in chronological order. The songs that are released and those that are planned so far each convey scenes based on the concept of the project and its characters. There are two important characters so far: an archetypal cult leader, a preacher whose pride and ambition got the best of him, and Satan. My Satan character is based not solely on the Satan from the religious texts of Abrahamic religions, but also on the broader concept of the character of the devil in popular culture. Over the course of a thus far undetermined number of songs, the cult leader commits evil acts masquerading as acts of faith and piety as he rises to power. He later dies and goes to hell, where he is faced with the reality of what he did in life and a fitting punishment for his deeds. As for the name of the project, the term Lord of the Lies was sometimes used historically in Christian circles to obliquely speak of Satan without invoking him, a rather superstitious prospect by modern standards. The name has a dual meaning here, though, because the cult leader, like his real life inspirations, relies on deception and manipulation to rise to power and to perpetuate abuse upon his followers. Concerning the inspirations for my characters, the cult leader is based loosely on the real life personalities of Jim Jones, Marshall Applewhite, and David Koresh, all of whom led religious cults that profess to their followers that they are living in the end of days. These men abused their power and status as leaders within the groups for a length of time, and they all met their ends in tragic, large scale unalivings of self and others. Fix that for YouTube. Precipitated by their cult beliefs or the threat of outside forces toppling their power structures, or a combination of these two factors. The cult leader in Lord of the Lies follows the same basic life trajectory, but after his heinous deeds on earth are done, he descends to hell, getting what he deserves within the framework of his own professed beliefs. When in hell, the cult leader is no longer in charge and Satan takes the lead, exacting justice. It's a fairly simple story, but I have left room for expansion and further character development down the line. As far as musical influences go, there's a list. I'll be listing these in order of decreasing importance from the most influential to the least. Influence number one: Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's final opera, Don Giovanni. The concept of a bad guy who sings opera finally getting what he has coming to him isn't new. In Mozart's famous last opera, the captivating ending scene involves the evil protagonist, Don Giovanni, being confronted by the ghost of a man he has killed who gives him one last chance to repent his life of sin. Giovanni refuses to repent and is sent to hell as a chorus of demons profess what horrors await him. My song, Tables Turn, doesn't reference any of Mozart's musical motifs from the Don Giovanni finale, but as the cornerstone for the entire concept of the project, the idea of a bad guy going to hell, being taken by surprise due to this turn of events, and a chorus singing about it were all directly inspired by this scene. The actual climactic scene that I'm talking about from the opera was featured in the 1984 film Amadeus, and that's a really good rendition of the scene. You got like devils with torches and a commanding evil statue character. So another major influence for Lord of the Lies was the Dutch symphonic metal band Epica. I wouldn't have had the idea to combine growling, classically inspired singing and choirs with metal guitars and drums if not for this band. None of the actual music is terribly similar between Lord of the Lies and Epica, but the arrangements and instrumentation in my project were heavily inspired by them. Go check them out. Their song, Cry for the Moon, is a good starting point, and it also features themes of religious corruption. Here's a big one as far as inspirations go. The character Frollo from Disney's animated movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, was another major inspiration. Specifically, his song Hellfire was a major influence on how the cult leader character sings within Lord of the Lies. An evil religious authority figure, Frollo sings about his lust for a gypsy girl, while backed by a choir singing about his inner guilt in ecclesiastical Latin. The cult leader's pick of the 7 deadly sins was pride, not lust as with Frollo and Don Giovanni, but as a baritone villain taking the lead musically with strong themes of religious corruption. Frollo was a major musical inspiration, not just in character, but also as a voice that I attempted to model that of my character after. Mozart's Requiem, specifically the sections portraying the fiery end of the world as described in Christian scriptures, was a direct musical influence. A fun little Easter egg for music nerds, the strings melody that I played on the keyboard in measure 11 of End of Days and repeated in the second verse in measure 53 is an almost identical note-for-note reference to the violin melody in measure 9 of the section of Mozart's Requiem titled Dies Irae, which is Latin and translates to Day of Wrath. Dies Irae focuses specifically on the end of the world as portrayed in the Bible. That one measure melody transitions from the intro to the following section in both pieces. And I've actually got Mozart's Requiem right here. We have got the part that I copied is right there. It's like do 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 do. Not singing it 100%, but that's the part that I'm talking about. It's just that little chromatic rise in the violins. That's the only direct musical homage to another artist in the project so far. Hans Zimmer's music for the DreamWorks film, Prince of Egypt, is an old favorite of mine. Specifically in the song titled The Plagues, the choir sings very softly, almost in a whisper as the song begins. I recorded my own choir whispers at the beginning of End of Days, and while the subject matter is rather different, that's where I got that idea. The Plagues also features apocalyptic imagery, 2 characters singing in opposition to each other, and a choir with lyrics based on the story of Moses and the Pharaoh from the Old Testament.